Hey everybody! I'm really excited to take a minute and share my first cup of coffee with you in the sukkah. And I want to talk about today how communication and being in a state of survival versus a state of thriving in the sukkah is happening, because I know I am hearing from you guys this mix of, oh my gosh, if one more person asks me to do one more thing this holiday, my head is going to explode. And the other side of, I'm having the most intentional, most abundant, most incredible holiday ever. And I want to talk about the gap there, because for even, if you're having an amazing Chag, it's not because like your life is perfect. It's because for us, there's this up and then correction, and then spike and correction, and spike and correction. And nobody lives in a vacuum where everything is perfect and everything is ideal all the time. It's about where you live emotionally and not tolerating anymore being in a constant state of sadness or resentment or disrespect. And then anytime you feel happy, or you feel amazing or confident or loving, that's the high, and then you're right back down. It's changing your preset settings on your emotions. And what that's going to do for you is it's going to make every day better. It's going to make every day a day that you're not overeating. And when you overeat, it's going to be like, oh, that's weird. What's going on for me? Something must be up. It's when you're not worried about your weight anymore. And instead, if your weight goes up and spikes, you're like, whoa, something must have happened. What's going on here? Or that must have been the most amazing indulgence and it was worth every bite. And that's what I want for you. I want you to stop yo-yoing. I want you to be able to feel free from resentment and anxiety as a constant state, because we all experience those things, myself included, on a daily or weekly or hourly sometimes basis. It's how long you're in that state versus getting back to your preset settings and learning how to really create an ideal weight versus constantly trying to lose weight. An ideal weight is when your weight is stable in a happy place. And then there's moments, there's an obstacle, there's something you need to figure out, there's hormonal changes, there's transitions, and anytime your weight's not in your ideal state, it's always going to come right back there, because you're figuring things out as you go and you're learning your body in a communication in a happy way. And it really sounds kind of foo-foo and up there, but it's actually very practical and based on science and strategies. And as we're going into Shabbat, what I'm so passionate about is that Shabbat is that time to stop and assess. I'm really big on tracking my food, as you guys know that, because, like I said, I know what a healthy day looks like for me, and any day that then isn't in that 2 seconds of journaling, which also journals my emotions, which also journals how my day goes at those times of day, means that if I see stuff that doesn't belong there, oh, that's a good sign for me as somebody who has a history of emotional eating and somebody who loves food and is super foodie, that maybe something else is going on for me that's coming to the surface that I'm not dealing with. And that really helps me speed up dealing with it. So I love tracking my food, but I don't ever track on Shabbat. And I don't even usually track after Shabbat. If I'm honest, I don't. I make a plan before Shabbat. I'll write that down 60% of the time, because I'm excited about what I'm going to eat, and I know there are so many choices, and I'm kind of setting a menu for myself as to what my indulgences are going to be and what's most exciting, and sometimes I'll put a question mark there. But going into Shabbat is this opportunity for you to get out of survival mode and learn how to do that faster. Because to me, and why I'm so passionate about Shabbat in terms of getting to your ideal weight and maintaining it, is that weight loss happens during the week. But Shabbat, in my opinion, isn't about weight loss. If weight loss happens, it's because the way you are eating is your ideal weight setting, and you just happen to not be at your ideal weight yet. And so it's going to draw you towards your ideal weight. But it should be eating for Shabbat like you will for the rest of your life at your ideal weight. And what's incredible And this is what I want to share with you, is how we can move those preset settings. So I was talking to 2 different clients today, this morning already. It's 10. And one of them is having this incredible, thriving holiday. And I want to share something that she said. It wasn't, again, that she has this perfect life. It's that every single time the kids went crazy, or she saw a picture of herself and like she didn't love how she looked in that like picture while they were out, and she was bending over, and like we all have like some skin, and it was over on her thing, and her first thought was that negative old thought, or her first action when she got upset with the kids was that old programming. But she immediately went into her self-talk and is like, look how loving you look with your husband in that picture. That tiny roll as you bent over, it's irrelevant. Like, look how loving you look. Look how in love you guys look after 18 years. Oh my God, that's incredible. And then when she saw her kids, she was like, wow, okay, like I see that we are over-sugared and under-routined. Wow. I love that this is so abnormal, that usually my kids are so much easier and go with the flow. I totally see that this lack of routine is hard for them. Like, they want to be better, to be acting differently. But the lack of routine and the overstimulation, let me see how I can help them get back to where they want to be. And she would not have been able to do that before. So it's really, that's what, she then comes to me and says, I'm having this amazing hug, but she saw these pictures that didn't make her happy. And she had these interactions with her kids, but her context, her picture frame was this ideal weight picture frame. And I checked it with another client, and she's like, if anybody asks me to do another thing, I'm gonna lose it. I am feeling a sense of a rage, just rage all the time at everybody for everything. And finally this morning I said, I don't want to tolerate this constant state anymore. And I decided I'm going to put some more vegetables on the menu, so I'm going to have something I'm happy to eat, and I'm going to make sure I get a walk today. So what's she saying? She's saying that those good moments are the unicorns in her life. And every day and every minute, she's feeling rage. And so when she sees something good and she sees, wow, I can get an opportunity for a walk today, I can put more vegetables on my menu today. Those are unicorns. Those aren't her standard setting. And so to do that takes all this effort, this getting out of survival mode. And that's something that it comes from that deprivation, I don't have enough weight gain mindset, where constantly our default setting is we are unhappy. And if we get happy, it's a unicorn setting. So how can we go from being in default mode where pieces of joy, pieces of self-care are unicorns, to daily, even there's triggers, but the triggers are just a mirror for me to see what I want, how I like to be, how I appreciate things, how blessed my everyday settings are. And guess what? These two women could be having the identical life, and they would still have the same stories that they have. It's not about the outside circumstances. It's about the way we see them. And guess what? Here's where the practical science comes in. I have another client, and she said to me very clearly, I knew that I'd really made good choices, but there was like a lot of circumstances outside my control, and I know the scale's going to be up tomorrow. And then she got on the scale the next day, and even though she knew it was going to be up, she allowed that to trigger in her, I'm not good enough, I'll never do this, and then sabotaged the next day by acting that out. This is why it's very practical. If you want to change your behavior, now what's the practical thing you need to do to not do that anymore? How do we get to, I live in a happy state and I live in my ideal weight, and when something is not right, I deal with it, versus I live in a state of rage. I live in a state of negative self-judgment. And when something goes right, of course it can't last because it's not me. It's not a match for me. So there's a lot of tools here, and I go through them in my Shabbat blueprint and my Shabbat courses, but I want to give you one that you can use right now to have a better Shabbos so that you start the process and you can clearly do this. And the more consistently you do this, this could be the one thing for you that you need. When you get up in the morning, prime your state. Whether it's Shabbat, whether it's a weekday, no matter what. First thoughts in the morning matter. First feelings in the morning matter. They prime that base state so that you say, this is how I'm going to feel all day. I'm going to feel rage. I'm going to feel joyful. And everything that's going to happen, circumstances are going to trigger other emotions, but I'm going to bring it back here. This is why the morning routine is so critical. So, to prime your state, okay, you need to look at 3 things. Number 1, moving, stretching. Ugh. I like to do a good stretch in my bed. I like to wiggle my hips. The booty is actually huge power. You want to wiggle. You want to stretch. That's why I love bar so much, because it has all these kind of heart opening movements. Stretch your legs, stretch every part of you. Feel the energy from yesterday just be totally leaving your body. Feel fresh. Ready to go. Ready to accept new blessings into your day. Smile while you do it. When you smile, you literally release totally different feelings in the body. I then choose an affirmation. You want these cards? Message me. I'll send you a link. I buy them. I didn't make them. They're great. I am proud. I take deep pleasure in my own achievements. And I say it out loud. And then I say the Jewish prayer, Modeh Ani. Modeh Ani lefanecha melechai v'kayam shechazarta bi nishmati lechemla rabba emunetecha. Thank you, God, for returning my soul to me. I am 100% faithful that everything that's going to happen today comes from love, comes from compassion, comes from a sense of seeing me with a unique, blessed mission in this world. My soul is here in me. My path is cleared to my outcome today. Everything that's going to happen is divinely designed for my success. And then I think about the people I'm going to see when I walk out my bedroom door. My kids, my husband first. And I think about, what do I want to feel when I see them? And if the thought that comes up for me is, wow, the to-do list that this person's done is like too high, too resentment. There's a block there to me feeling loving when I first see that face. Then I take a minute and I choose a different story. And I'm like, wow, why am I feeling that? I'm feeling that because there's a list of things that aren't communicated between us, or that person isn't pulling their weight in the house right now. Okay, that person is really struggling to show up as the best version of themselves. When I see them today, I really want to look at them and I want to keep in my mind a different time where they really showed up amazing, and I want to love them unconditionally right now and see that they really wish they were there too. And I'm going to give them space to get themselves back there. It's not my job to fix them. It's my job to love them today like they were there and let them move themselves back to that space. And if I have a need, to communicate it with love. Okay, I check in with those people. And then I check in, how am I with my work today? Am I feeling excited to show up to work? Am I feeling resentment of work? Am I feeling like there's too much to do at work? And I look and I'm like, okay, today in my work, I'm going to, this is how much energy I have. This is how much time I have. This is the number one outcome I need to get today. Okay, just that one thing. This whole process takes 6-7 minutes because I have 7 people, right? Five kids, 1 husband, 1 job. Okay. And then I get up. Now I came down to the sukkah. I'm about to pray. I'm going to work out. Sometimes there's kids, like a million things happening in between here. I had my coffee, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to move on with my day, and I do that on Shabbat. I do that during the week, and during the week I'll journal some of that out. But there is nothing in this world that, when you are in charge of your state emotionally, that can really shake you permanently. You can really always then come back when you have that morning high level state. It's really an incredible tool that I just gave you that will change the decisions you make all day long. Because just like that client who decided in the morning that her state was, I'm not good enough, her decisions all day. Think about it. If you don't feel like you're good enough, what kind of choices are you going to make? If you come in the day thinking, every person I see, I want to feel more loving towards. I want to feel, and if you're not at your ideal weight yet and you're working there, so then you want to be, when I get on this scale, this is how I want to feel about that interaction. When I sit down to my food, I want to feel full and satisfied today. I want to look at my food. I want to feel nourished, full, and satisfied. So you're going to feel that way. You're going to look at your food all day. And anytime you then sit down to a meal and it doesn't look filling, satisfying, or nourishing, you're going to be like, oh, that's not a match for me. Something's off here. Your state is going to want to come back to where you primed it in the morning. And guess what? The more often you do that, the more consistent you are with it, the more deep that belief is going to be in you that this is my state. And it's going to feel like a magnet bringing you back there. And you're going to feel very not okay when things are not a match for that. I hope that you use this tool, because I know that if you use it, it will change your experience. You will go from survival mode to thriving mode. I know that it can transform, even if you only do it every Shabbos. It will transform your entire week, because really, if you're too busy during the week, this is the purpose of Shabbos, to change our preset settings so that every week is filled with abundance and joy and love and optimal health, your ideal weight, which you can only get to and maintain if your standard setting is a better, healthier version of you. I love you. And I'm proud and honored that you gave me your time today.